What's up, YouTube? It's the Barber coming at you with another video. Here I got my client. He's gonna get a ball fade on the side, and we're just gonna trim the top up. He likes to wear it a little bit messy. First off, I'm gonna start with my number 2 guard. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the bulk. Makes it super easy for me to blend into. I know kind of where to stop at. We'll go ahead and take this the whole way around the head. Notice how I take the number 2 guard and I come off the ridge using the heel of the blade. It makes it easy for me to blend into the top, just so I can kind of see what my finished product is going to look like before I actually get into detail on the fade. Here I'm going to take my Anderson Master cordless with the fade blade on it to put in my first initial guideline. Don't worry guys, I'm fixing this auto focusing feature. Still trying to work with it and trying to get better at doing it. But I'm gonna go ahead and go from like the edge of his eyebrow and drop it down near his occipital bone. Here we're gonna take our cordless outliner. We're gonna clean up underneath that, just up to that first guideline. Making sure that we flick out using that C-stroke motion. Here we're going to take our Anderson Master cordless with the taper blade on it, open. We're going to put in our first initial guideline, about a ½ an inch up. Here we're going to close the blade halfway. In some cases, depending on the hair type, I like to fade down. Sometimes I fade up. I tend to switch it up just based on my clients. Kind of typically, I've been cutting these clients for a long time, so I found out, you know, what works and what doesn't work, what works better and what's easier for me. And I advise all of you guys to do the same. Same way with the clippers too. You know, my clippers, I'm using Anderson Masters, but I've used Wall Senior. I've used every clipper that you can think of. Here I'm going in and I'll fully close the blade, and I will go ahead and knock out the remainder of that initial guideline, using the corner of the blade, the full blade, any way possible to kind of get that initial guideline out. I'm a little delayed on that one. I don't know why. Still getting used to it and trying to record these videos, and you know, as times go on, I'm gonna get better at doing this. Here you can see that, you know, that first initial guideline's all but gone. I'll go ahead and I'll detail it. I'll continuously open and close that blade. Here we're gonna take my number 1 guard, open, kind of blend into that number 2 guard that I first put in with my first initial process as far as debulking. You can already see, like, by me using that C-stroke motion, you can already see the fade starting to come together. Here I'll close the blade. We'll clean up that line from the guard open. Man, that autofocus is killing me. I can't stand watching these videos, playing them back and seeing it. I'm sorry in advance. I will go in there with that 1/16 guard. I'll tend to use the corner of the blade and start knocking that little bit, that little line of demarcation. We'll start knocking that line out. Not much there. You really can't see it. It's pretty faint. From here, I go ahead and detail the haircut using my 1/16 guard. We'll use the corner of the blade, kind of knocking out any dark spots that we may see. I'll use the taper blade on the cordless masters open. Once again, using the corner of the blade, knocking out any dark spots that we would see. Here I just pay special attention to right around that occipital bone. Try to make sure we knock out and debulk a lot of that, because it can kind of give off an illusion from further away that there might be a line there when there really isn't. So I like to stretch the skin out, like to really use the corner of the blade, really debulk and take out any dark spots that I would see. I would step back, look in the mirror, double check my work just to make sure that I've got everything. Here I like to take my texturizing shear and I'll go in the haircut with the fine tooth side of the comb. This technique works, especially for people most of my clients that would have, dips in the head. It's nice to be able to go in there and add that little bit of extra detail, and getting those little hard to reach spots, dark spots, with your clipper. Here we're gonna finish it off with some clipper over comb. I like to, when I'm blending into the top, I like to keep the guard open. I know some people use the one guard on top of it and do it closed. It's a little bit safer that way, but for me, I find it easier to use the guard open. We're gonna take the Andis cordless T outliner. We're gonna just put his arches in. Very faint. I like to keep them a little bit natural. We're gonna go ahead and wet the hair on top in preparation to trim it up. We're only trimming just the tips, not taking too much off of it. Here, messing around with the camera, trying to get it in line and stay in focus as I trim the top. I think I'm gonna switch it up for, I think not my next video, but the video after that. I'm gonna use manual focus and see if that helps it a little bit better. Keep messing with this camera as I'm cutting hair. Mind you, I'm doing them, with my appointments, and about 30. I do 30-minute appointment times. Now I'll do some scissor over comb, try to clean up just that edge on the ridge. It tends to dip in as it comes towards the middle. So I'm just going to detail that out. Here, I'm just gonna clean up that arch with a little bit of razor work. It's very faint, so you really can't see it. Especially his hair is like that dirty blondish, especially when it gets shorter. Here, I'm gonna speed up the rest of the video. Use the same process, just a little bit faster.